Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining I Stand with Zambia. Today, we are going to be discussing the UPND Alliance and what this alliance means. I'm just going to deal with this, get that off there. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about the UPND Alliance. And what we want to do is just get the general sentiment of what people think about it. Obviously, yesterday's event was fun-filled. A lot of us were caught unawares. So we're just going to go through it and talk about it. We're going to tell you what we think about it, and we want you to also come on a bit later, join in on the video and tell us what you think about it. So I'm not here alone today. I have my colleague Emma. I'm going to put her on the screen just now. Just hold on a second. I'm using my telephone to do this, so please just bear with me. There you go. Emma, let everybody know who you are.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Emma Nyarenda, and I am a citizen of Zambia. I love Zambia. I love my country, and I really want to see the best for my country, Zambia. So these are exciting times that we're living in, and I do believe that God is doing a new thing in our nation of Zambia. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see the new developments.
Yeah. Yeah. And so obviously today, Emma, we are going to be talking about the UPND Alliance and sharing our own thoughts and also trying to find out what the general sentiment is with the people of Zambia. So what does the alliance mean to you personally? What do you think about it?
Well, personally, I mean, when I got wind of the alliance of the coalition last night, I think if anything, I think I was really excited. I was excited to see the lineup of the leaders that who have come together to join UPND and family. So that it gave me hope. It gave me hope when I saw the video of how, I mean, one thing it did say to me that this has been in the making in the background for a long time. This has been kept under wraps. This is something that UPND they've looked through with a fine tooth comb. They have really gone through, they've done their homework, they've studied this, for it to come out to the nation last night. I think this was the time to say, okay, we are ready now to make this an announcement. We're ready to work with our colleagues. So to me, I think this is it's just really good to see Zambia's united. The unification of the Zambian leaders, to me, that's what got me. So that's really excited me, and it really gave me it gave me hope as well for the kind of Zambia that we want as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to quickly go through what was a highlight for me when I was listening to them speaking. But before I actually do that, I know I did mention to you that when the day before yesterday or so, when we were when it was sprung on us again that there is this new alliance called the Zambia We Want. And my thought was like, these are all like Bemba speaking men. And I thought, all right, are they just going to go into Northern Province and just make sure that, PF don't win, even though we know that none of them are going to be president. So I thought it was a strategic move. And now I understand why they sort of did it that way. So I'm going to go in and let everybody know what was a highlight for me. So Kevin Fube-Walia, who is a lawyer, he was just talking about the rule of law, and his approach was to sort of sensitize people to understand what the breakdown of the rule of law is by your experiences. So he's saying if you're afraid to share your opinion, it's because you're afraid of being arrested, and you're only going to be arrested because the law is not being followed. Like you're basically being bullied. So he was just talking about the fear element, that because there's the breakdown of the rule of law, there is fear in people. And then who else spoke? Felix Mutati, he spoke as well. And he was obviously coming from a finance background. So he was just talking about the importance of not of implementing policies. Some other stuff here. I also thought he was a very inspirational speaker. He's a bit of that kind of person. And then there was a Mr. Ernest Mwansa, who I've never heard of, even though we sort of have the same name. Never heard of Mr. Mwansa in my life until yesterday. So he was talking about the importance of good governance. What was he saying here? So he was talking about the importance of integrity. He was telling us how information matters. He was highlighting the fact that we don't get regular news conferences from our head of state, and because of that, like, vital information is not being shared. He talked about removing the top-down style of governance. That was something that stood out to me. And Mr. Hakainde came in just to sort of bring everything together, talking about the importance of unity. And he also gave an example about how during the independence struggle, how UNIP and the ANC had to work together in order to vote out the colonizers. So he gave a bit of background as to why people go into alliances, and that it's been something we've been doing since the formation of our country. So that's what he was saying. So let me just check if there's anything else here. And one thing he said, that from today onwards, everyone is a freedom fighter. That was a comment that I thought that was quite interesting. And so, Emma, so it's happened. What are people saying? I know you read an article somewhere on the Zambia Watchdog. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I mean, there's mixed feelings. Yeah, I mean, people do have mixed feelings about a coalition. I mean, it's been done before and it's fallen flat on their face.
Right.
But I mean, there's a comment that I was reading earlier about which said on Zambian Watchdog, which somebody had mentioned to say that that the average voter in Zambia doesn't actually even care about the manifesto. And all they want to know is that, okay, am I going to get a bag of meal, going to get a chitenge? What are you going to do for me? But I mean, to some degree, maybe there's a bit of truth in that, you know. But I don't really see that as being gospel truth. Why I say that, I mean, if we look at the PF party, and there's the two guys that hang out together. There's Kilimanshi and his partner. What's his partner's name?
Nathan Peary. These guys are famous in the diaspora. Oh, Emma, hold on. Where in Zambia? Kilimanshi, they are known.
Yes, I mean, Kilimanshi. I mean, he's a comedian, but you know, I mean, he's full of jokes. But anyway, Nathan Peary. What strikes me about Nathan Peary? I mean, these guys, I mean, are in the. I mean, they're situated like in Matero and all these areas, compounds that are in Guchawama, in Lusaka, Zambia. And okay, so the people that they appeal to, I mean, these are the average. This is the average Zambian. So now, but I don't know if you have heard Nathan Peary on TV. Nathan Peary is always talking about party politics, you know, grassroots party politics. Is talking about He's talking about the policies, about the PF policies,
Right.
about the constitution. So I mean, he knows his stuff. So if these guys know their stuff, and they're talking to the masses of people about manifesto, about what PF is going to do, so we can't really even say that, okay, people don't really care about manifesto, because they do care, because that is the kind of language they want to hear. You know, what is the policy, what is the vision of the political party. So we really can't rule out what's to say that people, I mean, they don't really care, but people do care. I think the people who don't care are probably people like, okay, if you have a car, can afford to take your children to school, you've got a job, maybe those people don't really won't really do their homework and dig so much about what the party manifesto is. But I do believe that people do care. So that is one place. And then there was also, I mean, other people comments whereby people are talking about to say that, okay, you know what, the caliber of people that have joined, so we have the professionals, we have Mr. Felix Mutati,
Yeah.
who comes from the finance sector. Then we have KBF, who's a lawyer, and Mr. Mwansa as well. So I mean, the caliber of people that we have, I mean, these are professionals. These are people who have been in leadership before, who have got jobs, who are bringing in something into the nation. I mean,
Right.
what Zambia is really, really tired of, I mean, which is the kind of feeling I'm getting from the comments I read, was that people are just tired of I mean, of these uneducated people who have really been put in a suit, and and are running things, and who just don't have any understanding of the economy, of party politics, and even on not only on a local level, but even on an international level. So we really need people who are really like the core of Zambia, the fabric of Zambia, the intellects. I think that is very important. We do need that those kind of caliber of people to join politics.
Well, there
Yeah.
is another side to that, because I agree that we do need educated people. We need people who actually know what they're doing. But then when you think about the our forefathers, the freedom fighters, they, not all of them were educated, but they did have a love for the people. They wanted to see everybody prosper. And the problem that we have with the current administration is we have people who are not educated, and they have no regard for the citizens. So that's a really big difference, that you might not have the education, but you have a love for the people and you want to serve them in your best capacity. And we're not seeing the best capacity in the people that we have. And then even Nabasangirira, you see them using their education to twist things. Like they
Yeah.
know how to work it. They know how to work that system. So it's you had an article that you wanted to read from the Zambia Watchdog, or
Yes.
have you gone through that already?
I did, yes. I mean, okay, so this was an article in Zambian Watchdog by Friday Kashiwa, which was posted yesterday. So, I mean, it's a brilliant write-up, and I think he really speaks from the heart, and his sentiments are for the Zambian people. And I'm just going to read parts of it. And
Sure.
so Friday goes on to say, I'll start from the beginning. They conveniently kept the cards to their chest and to themselves to confuse the enemy. I really like that, because this was really sprung on us. And they have conveniently worked silently behind the scenes to strategize on coming up with the most formidable alliance to redeem Zambia. And this is exactly what Zambia needs. Zambia needs to be redeemed. We need to get back to our former glory.
Right.
Most significantly, they conveniently chose Mother's Day to come together, work together for one purpose: to liberate and redeem Mother Zambia. So,
Okay.
which was brilliant. I mean, doing it on Mother's Day, that indeed was brilliant. They have successfully completed the much anticipated political equation and partnership, bringing on board professional and tested leadership. Welcome on board Honorable Felix Mutati, Kelvin Walia Fubi, and Ernest Mwanza.
Right.
Congratulations to Honorable Charles Milipi for your perseverance and consistency of being an all-weather alliance partner. Also, I like this part. It was a congratulations to President HH and Vic Nalumango as well as the whole UPND family for being so naturally and maturely inclusive. I think this is what has been important, you know, being that inclusiveness. I mean, if
Right.
you watch the video, I mean, there is the heart where these people want to come together for Zambia. It's all about Zambia. It's having that
Right.
the servitude, like, well, we want to serve our people, we want to serve our nation. We know, yes, we've been in leadership before. We're in a better economic position, but we also want the best for our people. And these are not the kind of sentiments we're actually hearing from the ruling party. You know, we're not hearing a servitude, a heart. We're not hearing sentiments of people who love Zambia, who want the best for Zambia. All we're seeing is like people who are, I mean, like extremely wealthy, overnight riches, overnight wealth, and you know, and who are only dispersing this wealth to people who are partisan to them, you know, or people who are sympathizers of the party. Yes. So so that's, yes. So if you like, allow me to go on.
Sure.
Yeah. So as for our gallant men and women in uniform, the police, congratulations for arresting innocent Khaled Malashi for the crime of being assaulted. I mean, there's a lot of humor in that as well. I mean, so I mean, there's really what we're seeing in the articles. I mean, I'm going to also read another article which was also written earlier yesterday. The title goes, Zambians Unite. So it's true that we have been, the nation has been divided. I mean, there's been the Greens and the Reds for such a long time, you know, and it's whereby we just cannot agree on anything, you know, because even when you have people like myself and yourself who are non-partisan, but when we do express our views, it's almost as if you are attacking the ruling party.
Yeah.
But you know, now we want to see a united front. We want to see a people who can, you know, who can actually speak their heart. I mean, I like what KBF had said, what you had said earlier about KBF, you know, that if you are afraid to speak, then you're afraid of being arrested. It shouldn't be like that. I mean, we're in a democratic nation, you know, since, when was it, 1990, 1991, when Zambia became a multi-party democracy. So we're in a democratic nation, so we ought to speak freely. Yeah, so that's what the articles are saying. Sorry, my battery is running a bit low, so I'm just going to pass over to you so I can just...
Okay, that's okay. Hold on. Let me just... okay. You know, one of the things that I thought of was we're going to go into the comments that people have left. And I'm sure the people watching, like with me, when I think of the people who have formed the coalition, you know, it's so important as a leader or an aspiring leader to be integral, because your past will come up and haunt you. Like, there are some things about KBF, even just recently, you know, just the rhetoric that he was saying on the radio, on the TV. I mean, he was campaigning for his own thing, you know. And then there's also the belief that people have, well, I guess there's some evidence, I'm not really sure, but that he had a role to play in ensuring that the petition in 2016 was not successful, that he had a key role to play. And so and then when I think of Felix Mutati, I want to ask him, like, you were finance minister. What happened? Like, on your watch, what happened? You know, because it's all good and well for you to come now and say, we need to implement, like one of the things he was saying was implementation. We have to implement and not just have things um, on paper. So my question to Felix Mutati is, okay, well, thank you for coming on, but like you owe us an explanation. What happened? You know, what was it like for you working with these people? Were you being overruled? You know, did you, whenever you wanted to suggest something normal, were you being overrun? Like, what's up with these Chinese loans? Like, you sat in these meetings, you know, why did you agree to these terms that are secret? So those are the sort of things that I feel that everyone should be forgiven and everyone should have a second chance. But I just feel that people do not feel they owe an explanation. They can just come and say, well, I'm a new person now, and say all the right things, you know. But I'm just thinking, okay, but you had, when you were in authority last time, this happened. So can you explain to us what was the process? Because we only saw the result. We don't know what the process was. Maybe you were being overruled and bullied and threatened and whatever. But, you know, so I feel that they owe the nation an explanation. And this is probably, as we get into the comments, Emma, I'll have you start reading your 6 comments, and then I'll look for one as well.
Okay.
I'm sure that is what is making people be, you know, like, when are we going to get some clean people? Like, when are we going to get, and you can be, I mean, look at salvation, right? Like, we all come as sinners, but then we confess our sins, keyword, we confess, I did this, I did that, and then we repent of those sins, and we go and we sin no more. Okay, that's the process. And I think we need to have that in politics. It's not enough to just be like, I'm here, hello, like, welcome me, you guys already know me, and da-da-da-da. No, what happened? You owe us an explanation. Then we'll take you seriously, because that is, I think, what is making people to just not be comfortable with. I
mean, if I could just jump in there before we actually go to the comments. I mean, indeed, I think when people do come into power, the nations are owed, so the people are owed an explanation of, say, when you were in power, this went wrong on your watch. What happened? You know, give us an explanation. And I do believe that's something that probably, I mean, it would be great to hear Mr. Felix Mutati actually speak about what happened on his watch. But I think also on the flip side of it, I mean, even though he was finance minister, but he was also accountable to higher powers. So, I mean, the way things are running, I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn, but it could be like, okay, you're trying your best to do your work and, you know, to cross all the T's and dot all your I's, but higher powers are coming in there and telling you, no, actually, don't do this. This is what we want. This is what we want. And your hands are almost tied. You know, there's very little that you could do. I want to give an example of when Donald Trump went into power. So when Donald Trump went into power, there was, he also started to push about the immigrants, the Mexicans' children being locked up and all that. But little did we know that was already implemented, that policy was already implemented by the Obama administration. So really what Trump was doing, he was just following through. But Trump actually, he was made to look very, very bad, that he was putting these kids in cages, but that had already been started. So I think going back to base, what the ordinary Zambian needs to do, we also need to, just as you've mentioned, we need to go back with a fine-tooth comb, say, okay, Mr. Mutati, during your watch, this happened, this went wrong, the Chinese came in, A, B, C, D. But so we want to know, okay, so I mean, were your hands tight? Because we
Yeah.
also want some sort of transparency and
Yes,
so and
exactly.
accountability as well. But I think
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Zambian people do need accountability. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Over to you.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah, we just and now we are that generation that expects an explanation. Especially like everything is on the internet now. Like if you don't tell us, we're gonna find it, and when we find it, we're gonna let you
Mhm.
know. And that is not cyberbullying, by the way. It's in the public domain. If information is already in the
Mm,
public domain and you bring it out, it's different
mm,
if they don't want you to talk about it. But if just because ZNBC is not talking about it doesn't make it illegal.
mm.
If it's
Exactly.
on CNBC, if it's on China
Mhm,
Daily, because they report
mhm,
everything.
mm,
Yeah, they report everything. If it's on CNN, it's not
mm,
defamation. It's not cyberbullying. It's the truth. Okay. So Emma, what
mm,
sort of comments do you
mhm.
have? What are people saying? Public reaction to UPND Alliance?
Oh gosh, there's
I'm gonna
there's a
go
guy.
before you start. I'm gonna go just so that the people know. I'm gonna go onto the candidates Facebook page.
Okay.
It's called The Candidate.
Mm.
So I'm gonna look at some there. So go ahead, Emma.
Okay, so this one is from a guy called, okay, I probably won't mention his name. You won't want me to mention his name. Okay, so this guy says, One love, Kwasila. Felix Mutati is a great man who worked for us Zambians. Kevin Fube is a great man who have written who has written a book, Zambian Must Prosper. And HH is a strong man who has sorry, the grammar is terrible, who has understood the word
Oh, wait.
give up, who has understood the word never give up. So that's one comment, which is quite good. There's another guy here. He says, I don't trust these people, but whatever works to get PF out of power, I'll support, but let them remain in their lanes. No demands whatsoever. Mm.
What?
Mixed
Wait,
feelings
what was
there.
that?
So this guy says, I don't trust these people.
Yeah.
So this is Felix, KBF, and Mr. Mwanza. So I don't trust these people, but whatever works to get PF out of power, I'll support. But let them remain in their lanes. No demands whatsoever.
Okay, the people who. Okay. Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well, let
uh-huh.
me also read two here, and then you'll read
Yeah.
the next two. So this person says this is the downfall of HH and his colleagues.
Hmm.
Another one says looking great, comrades. What do you have?
There's here I have confuse him so that he should not start running with fouls in courts. I'm sure one amongst you would easily accept the defeat you have on the 12th of August. There's
Confuse
another
who?
one here. So I don't know whether he's actually okay. This is actually a reply from people who
Oh,
are rubbishing Mr. KBF and Mr. Butati,
oh
you
dear.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's another one here which says August 12th is approaching. All we want is free and fair elections, all the very best. So which is quite good.
Yeah.
Yes, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the sentiment that I read earlier about, whatever to take to get PF out, that's what we want. So I
Yeah.
mean, when people are tired, they actually don't care. But this is beyond that. We don't care. Let's all do our homework. Like uh, President HH had said earlier, that we're all freedom fighters. We all need to do our homework. We all need to
Yeah.
go out there. We need to go. We need to vote. It's not enough of us just talking. We really need to go out there and do our bits to vote.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've
What
got
what else have you got? Yeah.
this one saying he is Kambwili in the other version. Okay. And this one says, hope you will not be like Avene Chishimba Navajibi because in Webantu Mwabafye Semu Semu. He actually wrote Semu Semu. I didn't
uh,
get that out, but you did. Semu semu.
I mean, I think the thing about the coalition, I mean, we have a lot of had what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Recycled politicians who are jumping
Yeah,
from one party
yeah,
to the other, and people are
yeah,
really sick of that. They're really
yeah.
really sick of that. But I mean, I'm really hopeful. I'm really really hopeful with this. I mean, this guy here, it says, the past is gone. The present and the future is what matters. It doesn't matter when the movement has been formed months prior
Uh-huh.
elections. What matters is the agenda behind it. Please let love, unity, and peace cover Mother Zambia. Indeed, Zambia unite. Oh, I think this is brilliant. What this
Yeah.
guy says.
Do you have another
Yeah.
one?
So,
I'm just trying to
ye-
check for another one.
yeah, I've got another one here. It says, "Oh, following from Malawi, but don't welcome briefcase parties. Nothing changes."
Briefcase parties. Okay. This one says, if the other, okay, so the actual question was, have you forgiven, asking HH, have you forgiven
Shoot.
some of these people for the bad things they said about you? And this one is saying, if the other party can forgive the master of insults, what's wrong with forgiving him? Um, and then this one says, UPND and its propensity for political failures. Yeah. Oh, it looks like Emma's thing is frozen. I'm not sure if she's aware that her um, Emma, let me know when you're going to be back on because your computer is actually frozen. So we're just looking at some of the public's sentiments that is going on. And one of the things that when Emma gets back, she's going to read an article that she found from Laura Mitty. And today, for some reason, I put on my phone and I saw that there was a manifesto for a political party called PAC, People's Alliance for Change, or something like that. And I was listening to them, because I had time. And they were saying some really good things. They were saying things that, to me personally, I actually. Oh, Emma's back. Okay, I'm just gonna bring Emma back. Hold on, everyone.
Okay, sorry, my camera has just gone off.
Are
So
you serious?
can you believe that?
People are gonna drop off just because they can't see you, right?
Oh, come on, come
I'm
on.
telling you, they're here for you. Oh no.
Oh,
Okay, well, Emma, I was just telling them about the article you were going to read for Laura Mitty. Can you get that out? Because she had something to say about this alliance.
yes. Okay, so let
Can you
me
read
just pull
that?
that up. Yeah.
I'm just gonna put this here. Everybody, while she's doing that, if you do not know, I Stand with Zambia has a YouTube channel. So I'd like you to, I would be honored if you can go and subscribe and watch a lot of the documentaries that I've created. They celebrate Zambia to the fullest. And I would really appreciate if you can go and subscribe and also follow and like this Facebook page. Okay. I'm just checking if Emma's there. I think we have some technical difficulties. Just give me a second, everyone. I'm just checking if she's still here. Okay, looks like she's dropped off. Okay, so yeah, so I was saying that I came across the People's Alliance for Change, and they were saying some really good things in their manifesto. I was listening to them. I had never heard of them before, so I was listening to them, and I just thought, wow, some of the things they were saying was something that I personally have not heard any political party talk about, like directly. They directly addressed the influence that China is having on Zambian culture. They addressed the land issue about how people foreigners are coming into our country from Turkey, from Libya, from wherever. They're coming into our country to make themselves wealthy, and the people are suffering. So they were addressing things like that. There's also another party called the New Heritage Party, and this is led by a female. I think her name is I can't remember her name. Oh my gosh. But I listened to their manifesto a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was quite interesting. So the reason why I said PAC came out on the 4th in 2016. Oh, Conrad, thank you so much. Conrad saying that PAC actually came out in 2016. I only heard of them this morning. I mean, the guy did look familiar, but I honestly had never heard of him prior to this morning. But I liked what he had to say. I liked what they had to say, and so I'm saying this because it's important for people to take time, like what Emma was saying, that you need to take time to study the candidates. Look into their background. What are they talking about? What is their manifesto about? Are they focusing on things that are important to me? Because that's what an informed voter is meant to be doing. You vote on the issues. So I think that is, so I found that really, really interesting. And also, while the Alliance conference was happening, on the other side of town, Lillian Mutambo, who everybody knows, Gelawapazed, she announced that she was no longer going to be running as a member of parliament on the UPND ticket. What I can say about that is I think something happened. I think Lillian Mutambo was not willing to bribe her way. She was not willing to pay her way. And the reality of how dirty politics can be, I think that got to her. And she decided to drop out because there are some allegations of people paying for votes. And so everyone, who's, I guess, on social media quite a lot knows that Lillian, she was just doing what she thought was the right thing to do. Go to the people, listen to them, help them, and just tell them what she wants to do. And that wasn't enough. And so she made the announcement that she's not going to be running anymore. She's going to run as an independent. She was asked, what are you going to tell your UPND supporters who were with you? Who are you going to tell them to vote for? And she said, I support HH. But in terms of me running for MP, I would want them to vote for me as an independent. So she didn't look too happy, to be honest. I think she was just crushed. Like the reality of it, I think it really just crushed her. Because like I said, she was not willing to buy her way, to bribe her way into it. She was just not willing to do any of that. Emma, I was just telling people about Lillian Mutambo dropping out of not the race, but no longer going to be on the MMD, the UPND team. I was just saying that, and I was saying that the reason why I think she left is because of an integrity issue, where she's not willing to bribe her way to the top. Because if she gets in with a bribe, she'll have to bribe to stay in. She'll have to bribe each time she wants to do something. She's going to have to bribe somebody. And she just was, I think she wasn't willing to do that, especially knowing that she is a Christian, not just a Christian, for the sake of being a Christian, but a Christian where you actually, like, your conscience is bothered. So that's my opinion. What do you think about that?
That's quite interesting that she wasn't. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. So, is this party politics within, whereby, you know, for you to get to a certain stage, I mean, you're bribing people at the top, you know, for you to be pushed up, or for you to get favors, or you to be seen. So is this something that is actually going on right now? So I mean,
Yes.
that's cause for concern right now. I mean,
Yeah.
because I mean, you have, I mean, Lillian Mutama. If we look back last year this time, and she worked her backside off, you know,
Yeah.
through social media. I mean, she used
Yeah.
her platform, you know, to create a lot of awareness, to have lots of talk. She got people talking, and you know, she got the common man, you know, to actually to log on, to talk and to speak. So
Amazing.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that is sad. I mean, if that is the reason, but I mean, good on her that, I mean, she's still on the race, and I wish her all the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me
Mm-hmm.
too. I do wish her all the best. And, you know, it's just the character of politics in Zambia.
Mm. Okay.
It's the nature in which politics is done in Zambia, I think was just too much for her. And it just didn't
Mm.
line up with
Okay.
scripture. Well, yes. I mean, it's not integral. It's
Mm.
not integral. It doesn't promote good character. It's
Mm.
wrong. And she just did not want to be a part of that, you know.
Is this something that she actually voiced out?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. I
there's a
must have missed
video.
that.
She had a mini news conference yesterday. A lot
Okay.
was going on yesterday.
Okay. Oh, I was offline for. I mean, it's like once you go offline for even 10 minutes, you miss a whole lot of stuff.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Mm.
And
Okay.
I was telling people that you had a comment from Laura Mitty. Are you able to read that? Because she's not, you know, buying this. She's got,
She's not buying it. Yes. Okay. So Laura Mitty put it on her Facebook page. So she put up a comment to say, I mean, I hope your readers know who Laura Mitty is. I mean, she's an advocate. I mean, she's got a very big
yeah.
following. Yeah. So she goes on and says, so UPND does with KBF and Mutati exactly what they did with GBM, Miles, and Kamwili, expecting a different outcome.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Alliance, my foot.
Yeah.
So that's Laura Mitty. Laura Mitty is not buying it. I can understand why she's not buying it. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, people before Mutati and KBF and Monster, people like GBM, Miles, and Kambwi, especially GBM and Kambwi, who've been jumping ship from one ship to the other. So
Boisterous Bemba speakers, not doing us Bembas a good service. Just loud and just always the loudest, always just like saying really mean things in Bemba. Do you really have to do that? You
uh,
know, I'm a proverb. Zimuchi Bemba Batila. Come on, man. Like, really?
yeah, not. I mean, without no. I mean, I'm in Yorenda from the eastern part,
Ah, my sister. Ah.
but
Whoa, okay.
without sounding
That's fine.
tribal. I mean, without sounding tribal or anything like that. I mean, the comments that were also made when Mr. Matati came on and Mr. Mwanza KBF to say, okay, this is just another group of elite Bemba men who are jumping on. But I think it's beyond that. I'm even looking beyond their tribe, beyond the Bemba speaking men. I'm just looking at the caliber of men
Yeah.
who are from professional backgrounds, who are educated, who have a heart and love for Zambia. So if we can really look past that and see what they're bringing to the table, yes, and probably we can do away with, you know, with the Bemba sentiments of, you know, of the proverbs and, you know, the insults and jumping from ship to ship.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think Nkani as well. If we look at Nkani, I mean, if you allow me to go into
Go ahead.
Nkani's,
Go ahead.
they also put something about Laura's sentiment about
Oh,
people.
they're commenting on what Laura said.
Yes, uh-huh.
Okay.
Mm.
What do they say?
So Okay, just give me a second. I'll just pull that up.
Okay, while you do that, I'm just going to read this comment. It's got quite a lot in there. I
Mhm.
need to move close to it. Okay, Richard says, "Good evening. For me, I don't need to judge KBF or Mr. Mutati for their move they have made so far by reasons. My reasons are simple. HH agenda is to reunite our country. Two, UPNDHH needs support from those who think that it's not about themselves but Zambia. Cool. Number three, remember that it's politics and we must expect everything. Genuine people will stick to work with HH for, remember, KBF and Mutati have followers, which is a good thing. And I believe they'll bring more people to UPND. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you so much for that comment, Richard. That just buttresses what Emma was saying. Um, and what, sorry, Emma, can you reduce the volume on your
Oh, sorry. Okay.
device?
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
just, are you able to, because I can hear a little bit of
Feedback.
feedback. Yeah.
Okay.
Is
How's
that
that?
okay?
Is
That's
that better?
perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
All
even all through yesterday, they made it a point to make everyone understand that this is about unifying the country.
right.
And I was saying to Emma that it was so festive having the traditional dancers and the different languages being spoken. It felt like like the celebration on Independence Day. It didn't feel like a political anything, even though the speeches were to do with politics, but to do with unifying and not being tribal, but that it was a celebration. It felt like they were celebrating Zambianness. And that's something that I took away from that as
Okay.
well. Yeah. Okay, go ahead,
All
Emma.
right.
Read your
Yeah,
comment.
actually,
Emma,
the article is actually in the
can you
Zambian Watch.
believe we're already 47 minutes in? I feel like we just started. We were only meant to be live for an hour, and we still want to give people an opportunity to
Unity. Okay,
come
I'll
on
just read this
screen.
quickly so that we can let
Yeah.
people come
So
on. Okay.
while you're reading that, let me share the link. So you go ahead and read that out. I have another computer here. I'm just going to share the
Okay.
StreamYard link for people to join in. Go ahead, Emma.
All right. Okay, so the article is actually from Zambian Watchdog, and it says Laura Mitty condemns adoption of corrupt persons. Laura Mitty wrote, Dr. Chitaru Chilufya has been adopted to recontest his seat. No real consequence for overseeing one of the most shocking of corruption scandals, Honeybee. Minister Ronald Chitotola, too, whose rating on the perception of corruption index must be an A plus, is offered another 5 years in office. The total
Wow.
resistance to punishing corruption in PF is well mirrored by billions of dollars that the country has lost in private pockets in the last 10 years. By its adoption, the PF is saying to Zambians, if one, it would be more of the same. Okay, so okay, well, actually, they're talking about okay, she's actually condemning the adoption of
Yeah.
in the PF. Okay, so I just want to go back into the.
Okay, go ahead. I'm still trying to send this link.
Mm,
So she said something. You said something interesting. You said, so she has a problem with people who have obviously got a criminal background
background,
being
yes.
readopted and there's no consequence. And that's something that KBF was talking about yesterday, which
Mm,
I just remember, where he was talking about that there is no, when the rule of law is being ignored. No, it was Mr. Mwansa, Mr. Ernest Mwansa. He said
mm,
that if we carry on like this, what is wrong is going to appear normal. And those of
mm,
us who are normal are going to be victims to the things they do wrong as they cover up for themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You can continue, sis.
Okay, yeah, okay. So I mean the comments are quite quite good. So somebody writes here. So being adopted is one thing, but being voted for is another. Right?
Sorry. Oh my gosh. Sorry,
Okay.
everyone. I'm trying to put this link in. Sorry. Go ahead, Emma.
Says being adopted is one thing and being voted for is another thing. Laura Miti, let's see the people on the ground who vote for him. If they do, they'll simply agree what they want to continue with. The same corrupt person.
Oh,
Hashtag stop the fuss, please. Hashtag biggest fools are the voters. It's garbage in, garbage. It's garbage in, garbage in. So, I mean, without even reading, I think it's almost as if the sentiments are like, okay, yes, people do complain about, having, like I mentioned earlier, recycled politicians come back
right.
in and promise us the world without any accountability for the mistakes and the wrongdoings that they did in the past. So I think that is a big no. I mean, because now you have you have a woke people, if I may use
Woke.
that word.
I like that word.
Yes, you have a people who are woke, who are very much aware. And the thing about the internet, I mean, there's things that people have done, have said, and it's on the internet, and it's not going away. It's internally been written on the internet, and this stuff you can't get rid of this stuff. So people will
Yeah.
not forget. And we're living in an age whereby almost half the population, or if more, have access to the internet, so they know what's going on.
Yeah.
I was actually, I mean, if I just move away from our subject slightly, I
Sure.
was reading an article earlier about he was also a finance minister, and he was, gosh, his name just escapes me. Oh gosh, he was Doctor. What is his name? He was a
Serving
doctor.
under who?
Sorry.
Who was he serving under? Maybe I can
He
help you
was
with
serving
that.
under Wanawasa at the time,
Oh.
and he's the one who ran away, and he went to. Is it what?
I remember his name. Oh God, he
Gosh,
was in jail,
just
right?
yeah, yes. I mean, he got arrested. I mean, that the time the big cop at that time was the late Brenda Muntemba. What's his name?
Was he the one that ran away to like the Middle East
No, no,
somewhere?
no, no, not the Middle East. He ran. He actually was within Zambia, and he used some very unethical practices. I mean, he was using juju
Yeah.
uh, and witchcraft and so on and so forth for him to hide in the bush. So,
Oh, isn't that what's his name? The guy who is insulting HH now?
gosh, what's his name?
He's like a musician as well. He likes your music.
He's now like singing songs. Doctor, what is his name? Chilufia. Oh, gosh.
If anybody in the comments knows who she's talking about, we'd really need your help. I know the guy, but I cannot remember his name, but
Yeah.
he was condemning people liking Seer 1. So somebody went back and pulled out the article where he
Yes,
was apprehended, and he confessed that the reason why he was able to hide is because he was using charms.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean,
Katele Kalumba.
that's the one. That's the one.
Thank you,
Yes. He was
Chilomba
actually
and
a doctor.
Mate.
Yes. Katele Kalumba. Yes, that's him. So going back, like the internet does not forget, and not only that, Zambians, we don't forget. We don't forget. We don't easily forget about what people do. I mean, if we even look back at UNIP, the days of UNIP. I mean, our fathers did serve in UNIP. But I mean,
Yeah.
the one party democracy, I can't even call it democracy. The one party rule of Kenneth Kaunda and UNIP. I mean, no Zambian, I mean, wants to go back. I mean, you are much younger. Myself, we are younger, but then we also grew up into multi-party democracy with MMD. But no one wants to go back to that. where you're always looking over your shoulder. You can't say this because you're going to be
Where's your
arrested. Your father
French?
is going to disappear.
Bashushu.
Exactly. Yes, no one wants to go back to that, you know. So we don't forget. Zambians, we don't easily forget, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, we do move on, but we don't forget. So it's I mean, it's people like Kateri Kanumba. People didn't forget. I mean, yes, he's a musician now. I mean, he's living a very carefree life. But people
Yeah.
don't forget that. Oh my gosh, we're a Christian nation, and this man actually used charms to hide. I mean, so I mean that's quite interesting. So I'll let you get on and let people.
That is
Yeah.
crazy. Listen,
Mm.
everyone, I have put the link to the live stream in the comment section. If you would like to join, Emma and I were intending to only be on for an hour, but we've put the link in. So if you want to come in and share your thoughts, as you've seen, you know, we're not here just to say, hey, it's great. We're being objective. You know, we just wanted to test what the sentiment was. And, you know, we are all for a united front. It's just important to understand the elements that create that front. So that's what today's broadcast was all about. So that is the link in to come into the live stream if you would like to. We can take maybe one or two people. So if you want to come on, let us know. But uh, let me just think here. Okay, while you guys decide whether you want to join in, Emma, I was just telling you about the arrest of breaking news today, the arrest of Mubita Nawa.
Now, yes.
Yeah, and I've got one of my YouTube buddies on. Her name is Chile. Sorry. Yes. So Mubita Nawa has been arrested today. I
Mm.
did a video. Are you aware of that controversy, Emma?
I think I read is it yesterday or the day before he was saying was it yesterday that he was on his way to the police station, and you know I think it was actually today while I was reading, but just before I jumped on onto the live here, that's when I heard that he's been arrested, which is I mean it's really I mean how many people are you going to arrest really, you know?
I
Mm,
know. I
yeah,
know.
it's really sad. It's really really sad. I mean, so what next? You know, so does this mean that none of us can speak? So I mean, do you want to give us a bit of background onto his why he was arrested?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm doing it reluctantly. And I say reluctantly because I dedicated an entire live on this.
Mm,
And some of the people watching would be like, yeah, she spoke about that already.
mm,
So he was, okay, Emma, you're watching the news and the reporter is live. How many
mm-hmm,
times has the reporter been reporting live and somebody come and do something crazy on TV while the reporter is live? Maybe they'll come and they'll put their fingers behind the guy's head, or
mm-hmm.
they'll come and do a cuss word. And then what does the reporter do?
He will apologize. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I mean, he'll try to move on and but he will actually distance himself to those remarks. You know, that's what any normal reporter would do.
Yeah. So
Mm,
so Mubita was live, and you know how he likes to talk to people. So this one particular person was drunk, and as soon as they came on, they were just insulting the president. So when the first insult left the guy's mouth, Mubita sort of walks away from him,
mm,
and he's shocked. And I don't know if you follow Nawa. He's always laughing. He just has this
mhm.
jovial
Yes.
dispensation. You know,
Mhm,
that's just the way he is. Like, you know, so he's like,
mhm.
you know, and then
Yeah.
he walks away, and the guy I think wants to come back on, and then he's saying, Awe, don't insult, not to
Mhm,
We
Yeah.
tamatukanika, tamatukane,
Mm,
and then the guy obviously says, yeah, 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 yeah. So Mubita lets him come back on again. So he starts off okay, but then
mm,
he insults again. So at this point, Mubita walks away from the guy and says, I'm really sorry, guys. I'll make sure I try to control that sort of thing doesn't happen
mm,
again.
mm.
And that's where
Okay.
it ended.
All right.
Here,
I mean,
yeah.
so this
As
has got nothing. So so these words are not coming out of Nawa's mouth. This was. I
girl,
mean, so has the other guy been arrested? Do we know if he's been arrested?
no, he has not. They've arrested him,
Mm. So I
which
mean,
is mhm.
I mean, the onus cannot be on Movita. I mean, to be really, really, I mean, if any good lawyer who's going to represent Movita, they would the onus cannot be on him. Those words did not come out of Movita's mouth. He was live. Somebody came on, said ABCDs. I mean, he had very little control of what had
No,
happened.
sis. Apparently, he did have control. Do you know what he could have done? He could have ended the live stream, delete the footage, and start again.
Ah, really? Okay, so I mean, I don't see BBC doing that. I don't see Al Jazeera doing that. I don't see CNN doing that. I don't see Fox News doing that. I mean, you're live, you're live. I mean, there's very little that you have control of when you are live. You have people in the background who run across naked, who start screaming into the camera. You're live, the camera is rolling. So,
Emma, you're saying something that, people in Zambia, bless your hearts, you guys, but, ZNBC doesn't do live reporting. And if they do, they are in a controlled environment. They're at a
mm,
conference, someone's speaking in the front. Then at the end, they're gonna have the person give a closing remark. But it's only Diamond TV now who do what they call news on the go, where they
mhm,
actually go on the streets and talk to people. Like they can get like right there as it's happening, live comment. So what
mm,
Emma is saying, that is what happens when you're
mm,
on live. But I don't blame you guys for people who were saying he could have just deleted it and he should have known better and it's his fault, especially because he left it up. Emma, this was done last August 2020. So when the
mhm,
Kalimanshi bust up, punch
mhm,
up happened in the secretariat and
mhm,
everyone was coming out to say this is unacceptable, they had to deflect. And so they went into the archives to pull something out and they
mhm,
pulled this out. But this is not going to pass in court because, like Emma said, the words did not come out of his mouth. And when you're
mhm,
doing live reporting, as Emma said, sometimes women go and they just flash their boobs.
mhm,
And it, the reporter is startled, and then he tries to
mhm,
compose himself and you
mhm.
know oh, we've actually got someone who wants to join in. I'm gonna add him on. uh Conrad, are you there? Oh, let me see what's happening. uh Conrad, we've added you to the stream. Oh, he's actually dropped off. Yeah, so everything that Emma just told you about what happens when someone's reporting live, she's actually being nice. Things happen.
Happen.
Okay. We're
Mm,
watching, these TV stations and we're just like, oh my gosh. But that's just what happens. So yes, so he's been arrested. It's totally a deflection because of
mm,
the Kalimanshi punch up in the PF Secretariat. They had to
mm,
find a way, I believe, to say, um, we're not as bad. I mean,
mm,
look at
mm.
you guys. You guys insult the president. But the problem is that, like you said, Emma, the words did not come out of his mouth. So
Yeah.
while somebody should have been arrested, they've
Mm.
arrested the wrong
The
person.
person. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. But once I mean, we're in May now, and how many months do we have till August? May, June, July. We've got about 3 months.
Yeah.
This looks like, I mean, they're clutching at straws, really, you know.
Yeah.
I
Right?
mean, yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like. I mean, really, if you're really trying to, you know, to distract people, you know, and arrest this guy so that you take away the attention about what happened with Kalimanshi and so on and so forth. There's there's bigger problems. There's bigger problems
There
here. I
really
mean,
are. It doesn't
yeah,
solve your problem.
yes, I mean, there's corruption that is going on. There's stuff. I mean, what about the gassing? I mean, we're talking about last year, this time, people were dying. People were being gassed in their homes.
Yeah.
You know, that has never been addressed.
Ever.
Never. So at what point are you going to address that? You know, I mean, don't those lives matter? So
Zambian lives matter. We should start a movement.
Zambians' lives matter. And, you know, that's why come 2012, you know, I mean, if yesterday was anything to go by, if the trick that was pulled out of the hat by the coalition that came up yesterday,
Right.
come August 12th, 20, sorry, come August 12th, 2021, I mean, I really believe there's going to be a shaking of the nation,
Yeah.
such a shaking of the nation. So I really, I mean, it's time to do right. I think what I would
Yeah.
really say is that PF, just do right by Zambians, do right by your people, you know, just start cleaning up, you know, because come 2012, I'm sorry, I can't be saying 2012, come 12th of
August.
August 2021, there's going to be a shaking. There's really, really going to be a shaking
Yeah.
of government, of the people, because between now and August, I mean, people are tired. You know, people are hungry. I
Yeah.
mean, there was, you know, last year when the Zambian people were complaining to say that, okay, the Chinese are mistreating Zambian workers,
Uh-huh.
this and that, and then Mao Sampa came up and, you know, he spoke about it. The next thing, Mao Sampa was told to apologize, and everybody was supposed to shut up. So I had this analogy. So listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living with my dad on my dad's yard. And in my yard, and in our yard, my dad rents out one of the properties to a Chinese national. And I go and draw water from the tap, and the Chinese national tells me I shouldn't draw water. And I said, why? Because he says, no, because I shouldn't draw water. He's in charge of the tap now. Because since he's living here now, he's in charge of the tap. So I go to my father and I said, Dad, look, um, this guy, Mr. Wong, says that I can't draw water from the tap. And
Mm-hmm.
then my dad goes, yes, and yes, you actually leave Mr. Wong alone. Just, you know, it doesn't matter. But I'm thinking,
Mm-hmm.
but I have every right to, you know, to access to that water. But he's saying I shouldn't have access to the water. No, 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 no. You know, let's, for the sake of peace, just, you know, just ignore it. So is that right, really? So now that child has not forgotten
Wow.
how his father has overlooked his rights to what is rightfully his because of the Chinese national. And this is just one Zambia. Now, if we look about the thousands and thousands of Zambians who are complaining of the injustice, come come August the 12th, 2021, how are we going to vote? You know, all those things are at play. There's so much at play, and people won't forget. I mean, there isn't enough chitenges that can go around, you know,
Right.
and t-shirts that are going to buy people's votes. But like I said earlier, people are woke. They're woke up
They are
now.
woke.
Yes, I'll take your chitenge. I'll take your t-shirt. If you're giving me a bag of milk, you know, the thing that within sometimes 2-3 weeks,
It does. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
ulapwa. I mean, ngamwepika porridge akachero, wali palanchi, no wali futi ushiku. Ah, irapwa, you
And
know.
they have
And
porridge for breakfast as well.
Yeah, Shima, actually, they have Shima for breakfast. You know,
Shima for
normally
breakfast.
anybody chala from night before. You know, it's okay to allow they feel boy. This yeah, like cut until 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So really, ubunga ulapwa. You know, taukokola.
I'm just going to read a comment here. Okay, hold on. I'm going to read a comment here from Conrad. Emma, are you able to read that out for us?
Okay, it says 19 candidates all want to be president. Some parties are extensions of PF who want to divide
Yeah.
votes. This means 50%. It will be very difficult. So there might be an aspect of a rerun. Zambians should vote quality leadership, large numbers to avoid a rerun, or else PF will come back
Oh,
again. I think I shudder to think if they come back.
mm,
Mm. And you know, like when I'm speaking like to friends back home,
uh-huh.
the what I find is like most of, I mean, the people that I speak to and I know, I mean, they're doing well economically, you know, they're not hungry, you know, they've got an income.
Yeah.
So they're just saying, well, you know what, it's possible that PF could come back. And why is that PF come back? And I also find that a lot of people do benefit from their association with PF. So it works well for them, you know?
That is so true.
Mm,
That is so true. And that is where, yeah, that's what separates them from us.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Just unimaginable wealth that's been accumulated in from 2016.
Hmm.
Conrad, I've added you on. You can speak if you'd like. I'm not sure if you're not muted. So would you want to contribute, Conrad?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining Emma and I and the rest of Zambia. What do you want to say?
Um, yes, I'm a Zambian. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Emma,
evening.
Hi, good
Miranda.
evening.
hmm I'm speaking from Chipata. hmm From so I've just found this. I've just been following you for about an hour now.
Thank you. What do you
Mm,
think about the UPND Alliance? What are your thoughts on it?
okay, like I'll just continue what I've been saying in the comments. I'll just be adding flesh on the
Sure.
what I've been saying in the comments.
Go ahead.
Um, I think the alliance is welcome. We need the support of all well-meaning Zambians with the agenda for change to bring about a better Zambia. Yes, we need a better Zambia. The Zambia that is we have today under the current government in power is not the Zambia that we know. Like things have just changed so drastically in the past 5 years. To things have just degenerated. So we need a better Zambia. So if KBF, if Felix Mutati and everyone believe in the agenda that we can have a better Zambia, like the way we had in the past, they are welcome to the alliance.
Hmm.
But yes, in as much as we need their support, my worry is the question like what kind of interest exactly are they bringing to the UPND alliance? Of course, what kind of things are they bringing on the table?
Okay.
Is it about also they have their own interest of maybe wanting to go back into government, like Felix Mutati, Honorable Felix Mutati? He has been in there before. He knows the system, how it works and everything. He has been in the system. It's not long ago he was a finance minister. You and I can bear witness with me. He was a finance minister under yes the presidents of Edgar Lungu.
Yeah.
Um, what is it exactly that has probably change. But yeah, we need their support. Now the question is that, in as much as yes, people like Hakainde Hichilema has not announced who is going to be the running mate, does it mean that these people have come to possibly grab the running mate position from Madame Nalumango or something? Because
Yeah.
that is my greatest worry, you know. Are these people coming to demand for positions, the key positions from the alliance, or what? What about the others who have been loyal to the party?
Right.
That's my biggest concern. Are we going to entertain them if they come to demand for biggest positions in the cake?
Mm.
We know what people of Zambia want. We know what people of Zambia want.
Yeah.
And UPND as a party should listen to what people of Zambia want.
Yeah.
Use something like that. Both in this alliance partnership, and even if they were to go alone, they should listen to what the people of Zambia want.
Yeah.
Because we need to maximize the chances of Hakainde Hichilema going to State House. We do not need the PF regime to come back. That's the biggest
Mm.
worry. Because if the PF regime comes back, I can't imagine another Zambia, another 5 years with them in power.
Mm.
Mm.
Something
Mm.
like that. I can't imagine a Zambia with them in power if they were to come back for another 5 years.
Yeah.
We need the KBF support. We need Felix Mutati support, and all those people who are in the MMD for Felix Mutati faction. I'm sure he came with them. Those who are in MDC,
Yeah.
I'm
Mm.
sure he came with his own people. We need their support. We
Yeah.
need their support. And
Mm.
for Hakainde is a man who has been consistent for a long time, for a very long time.
Mm.
And his message has always been the same over and over again. Nothing has changed.
Mm.
If he was not consistent, he would have probably stopped to do other things. Yes, he would have probably gone to the ruling party, like the way Dr. CK does it, to ditch his own people and go to the ruling party and
Mm.
associate
Mm.
himself from there. So
Yeah.
he's a man who has been consistent. Zambians should get to trust him this time. He means well for
Mm.
the people of Zambia. That's what that's what I think. He means well for the people of Zambia. His leadership, I think it can be better than the current one. Yes,
Mm.
Okay.
we are aware of
Yeah.
a lot of
Mm.
people who are fighting him, but Zambians should never be distracted by those. eh. We know what has been
Mm.
happening in the recent months, like in the past 6 months. We know what has been happening. People have been trying hard to fight him, to implicate him with
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
criminal
Can I
cases.
just jump in, Conrad? Can I just jump in there? You've said something very, very profound there, and which is quite true. You know, I think what the Zambian person is thinking. Okay, so now the coalition has come in. So what is their agenda? What is it that they want? Yes, they want a good. This is the Zambia that they want is like proper leadership with good economic governance, but what is their personal agenda? So I think we shouldn't also overlook that as well. As
Yeah.
much as it is good that they've come in, so we also got to ask. But if I can just say this, Conrad, I strongly believe the way UMPD, HH party is run right now, they have
Mm,
done their homework with a fine tooth comb. Before they came on yesterday, announced to Zambia, to the world, they sat in the background for, I think this has been going on for months. They have been sitting down, discussing about what they want. I mean, we don't know. I mean, it hasn't been announced yet, but I'm just thinking aloud here that if if the coalition was like, okay, it's going to be a 50-50 coalition whereby if we do get into power, we want 50-50 rulership. Something similar that happened here in the United Kingdom. There was a time when the Conservative Party went into coalition with the Democrats.
Uh-huh.
Yes, but I mean that it's died its death after a while. So I mean, Conrad, if I can just educate you here, I mean, I don't
Okay,
mean
okay.
to be so I don't
Let
mean
me.
to be condescending to you, but what had happened with the Lib Democrats and the Conservative Party is that the Conservative Party still had their people. I mean, they had the prime minister, and he had his number two. It's
Yes,
quite
yes.
different the way it has. But you see, so the prime minister, so the the leader of the Liberal Democrats. So he was almost like he was standing together with who was the party? Sorry, who was the leader, the conservative leader at the time? I think that
David Cameron?
was it David Cameron? Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
it was
know.
David Cameron. Yes, it was David Cameron. Yes, with David Cameron. So the way I'm looking at it, correct me if I'm wrong, Conrad. You could have probably more knowledge on Zambian politics. Probably
No, 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 not really. Yeah.
probably Mrs. Nalumango would still remain as the VIP, so as the
Mm-hmm,
vice
mm-hmm,
president
For
mm-hmm,
the
hmm.
party.
of the
Yes, yes,
party,
yes, true.
but probably when it comes to ruling, it will
Yeah.
probably
Running
be
mate.
somebody from the coalition. Yes,
Yes, yes.
correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
but I
idea. That's
strongly believe, Conrad, that HH and his team, they've done their homework. They were not going to entertain anybody because they've come too far. You know, like you said earlier,
mm-hmm,
he has been consistent. And
true.
I mean, last year this time, I've always been non-partisan, but HH won me over. Why did he win me over? Because for many, many years, I mean, I just said, okay, HH was a Freemason, is this and that. This
Mm-hmm,
was like an agenda that was purported by the PF party for such a long time. And
mm-hmm.
that's why people hated him. We never looked at him as like a human being, like he has got something to offer.
So they
But
managed to convince you? You actually believed it?
to some extent, yes. I mean, to some extent, yes. To some extent, I mean that. I mean, that's something we can discuss, on another live feed.
No,
But
because the reason why you believed it because it was being thrown at you all the time. You kept
all
on
the,
hearing
all,
it.
all
Yeah.
the time, all the time, he was tribalist.
Propaganda.
He was tribalist. He didn't like that. He didn't like other tribes. But really, I mean, his PR team have done a brilliant work.
Yeah.
I've warmed up to him. I know millions of other, sorry, not millions of other. I know thousands, hundreds of other people who've also actually warmed up to HH because he's actually his PR team have done such a brilliant job in of now like making him like relatable, making him warm. But like he speaks the language of the youth.
Mm-hmm.
Bali, when he adopted the word Bali. This
But
is what
yeah.
the kind of language that the youth use. So he has really warmed up to a lot of people. And not only did he actually warm up, or we warmed up to him as well, is that now we started doing our own homework. We started reading, okay, what is the manifesto all about? What is his party all about? What has he got to? What is he bringing to the table? Because there's no point in just listening to say, "Oh, he's a Satanist." Okay, he's a Satanist. Then what? So what is he bringing?
Mm-hmm.
What is he bringing to the table? So now when people started to read, to understand, then then we all started like, okay, you know what? This is not just a matter of just say we want PF out, and even if it's a Satanist, it doesn't matter. But there was
Mhm.
more to him than what was being purported about him. Sorry.
Yeah,
Mm.
like this time around, those people, his team, those people campaigning for him should not leave any stone unturned. We know people, a lot of people are trying to destroy his name and everything, but
Mm.
this time around, no stone should be left unturned.
Mhm.
They should be met. Those who want to destroy his name, they should be met with rebuttals, something like that, dismissed, whatever they use, those words in journalism, dismissed,
Mm.
rebuked, ravished, whatever. When
Mm.
those people like Nawaku, whatever, they come to attack him, they should be dismissed, their claims, whatever. But because it's just fake, it's just false. Because some of these people, they just say on their own, we don't want Hakainde Hichilema in prison because when he comes in, he will take us. We don't want Hakainde Hichilema to win, because when he comes in, he will take us to prison. What is it that they are scared about? What have they
Exactly.
done? What have they done? If they are clean, why should they be scared about prison? Exactly.
Yeah.
Eh?
Exactly.
Prison belongs to criminals. Prison belongs to corrupt people, not people
Exactly.
who are clean. Eh? Why exactly? So they will do anything within their means, within their power, to make sure that Hakainde does not make it to State House. And even those people from HH's house, they should do everything from their means and power to make sure that Hakainde wins to make it to State House, so that it brings sanity in the governance system. Because all we need is a better Zambia. We cannot
That's
continue
right.
to be
That's
the
true. Well,
situation. The status quo can't continue like this. You see, the status quo
wow.
can't continue like this. We need things to change. Things to
Well,
change the way they are done.
Tanya,
Not all the.
we're gonna be just closing the broadcast, but I also wanted to add something. Listening to you just now when you said the status quo has to change, I'm thinking, okay, you haven't even been living for very long, and you're already like, it's just so
No,
fascinating. Like I don't know, like, are you even 20 yet? Are you 20?
no, I'm not.
Right, like,
I'm-
yeah, like you haven't even been living for that long, but you are already sensitive, and like what Emma was saying earlier about, going to look at the manifestos, going further, going deeper. Like, you represent the young
Mm,
person today who is going
mhm.
deeper. Like, you sound like you listen to what you listen and you analyze. So I mean, having you on is so great to
Okay.
have. I mean, because there's your age group, there's my age group, there's Emma's age group, and then even the older people. Like, look at the retirees; they're just like, you know, it's
I,
really
I,
sad thinking about that situation. But just wanted to thank you so much for your comment, and we appreciate your input.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, then. Okay, so Emma, I think let me just read one comment here from Chile. She says, we have to be careful as we do anything as citizens. Our authorities concentrate on trivial matters. So if you are in the limelight, you need to be extra careful as you do your deliberations. Uh, or else they will find you to pin you down so you shut up. Yeah, he could have done better knowing the environment. Oh, I think she's talking about Nawa. That,
Okay.
yeah, that probably he should have been a little extra careful. Well, I'm sure going forward, because all they're gonna do is keep him in there for like a week or two, you know,
Yeah.
because nowadays they want you to say sorry and then
Mm.
you out. Elias Musha, hopefully, but Elias, if you're watching, can you please let us know? I think you actually said this, that you were meant to only be held for 48 hours, and after that you go to court. So
Yeah.
thank God for Elias. He's just so amazing.
Mm.
Talking about using your gift, he's using his talent and his gift for good, not
Yeah.
to work the system. So this is a
Mm.
plug-in for Elias Muisha. If you do not tune into his broadcast, you should, because he's gonna teach you what the law says, and you're gonna be able to recognize when the law is being broken by knowing what the law is. So that's a great plug-in. So Emma, do you have any closing remarks before we log out?
Well, I mean, I think we, as Zambians, we shouldn't give up hope. I mean, the change is coming, and we are the change. We are the people who are going to bring that change. If we want a better Zambia, we need to go out there, get our votes, put in our votes. We need to do our homework. We need to get involved in a lot of things that are going on. I mean, it's nice to see young Conrad there, who's under 20 years old, but he's doing his
Right?
homework. And I'm sure
Yeah.
there's thousands just like Conrad who are doing their homework, who are, finding out what is going on. I mean, if a young guy like Conrad, who's probably still living at home, but he wants a better life. He wants,
Yeah.
when he finishes school, when he finishes college, whatever it's going to be, that there's
Yeah.
going to be jobs that he just a sustainable life. Just
Mm-hmm.
the basics. I mean, we're living in the 21st century, really. The basics. Every human being should have access to the basics: healthcare,
Oh,
education, foods. Those are the kind of basics that the average person needs. It shouldn't be a luxury to have
yes.
health care, to eat, to education. Those things should be a luxury. So wishing the coalition and all the best, and we're really looking out to hear more about what they're bringing to the table. Those are my last remarks. Thank you, and thank you so much for having me, Monza. It's
You
been a
are
great time.
welcome. You're so welcome. And I definitely value your input. And I know the people watching have also valued your input. Her name is Emma Urenda, for those who would like to know. And I would just like to close just by saying that, we wanted to come on today just to read the national sentiment on this UPND Alliance, because there is a Zambia that we want, and that Zambia is based on integrity, it's based on good character, it's based on a love for the nation and a desire to serve. And one of the things that I learned recently from Mr. Akashambatwa and Bikusita Lewanika, there's a video I put on my YouTube channel where he was giving an interview on KBN television, and then the title that I put on was "How Zambia's Politics Became Violent." That was what I put on. But he said something. He said, "National service, serving your country, doesn't just mean you have to be a politician." He said,
Mm.
"National service has so many forms." And he said, sometimes people rush to join politics, and then they get disappointed and they drop out when they're not picked up. So he said, there are so many ways that you can serve the nation being a nationalist. And so on Thursday night at 20 hours, this Thursday, today's Monday, so on Thursday night, I'm going to come live again with Mr. Akashambatwa and Bikusita Lewanika, and he's going to be talking to us about nationalism, about what it is to be a patriot. The name of my page and the name of my YouTube channel is called I Stand with Zambia. And if you haven't followed it, please follow the page. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please go do so. They're really informative documentaries that I've created there that celebrate Zambia, just inform Zambians about Zambia. And when you know your heritage, you're able to identify when your heritage is under threat. And that's one of the things that drives Emma and I, because we realize as patriots that our heritage is under threat. And that is not the Zambia that we want. Okay, so please tune in. It's going to be live on YouTube and on Facebook again this Thursday night at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m., 20 hours. I hope Zesco will respect themselves and do their job and keep the lights on. Okay, so good night, everyone, and thank you for standing with Zambia.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.